So the biggest news in AI this past week has been the release of Claude Design. This replaces 3 or 4 different companies in the roles that they used to, including Figma, Adobe, and many more, such as Canva. So I'll walk you through a quick overview of this and then all the other important AI news that you may have missed in the last week. Let's get started. So Claude Design looks really cool. You can basically use the same chat functionality, but then see on the other side it being building out for you. It's very similar to like Lovable, I think, in terms of like chat on the left side and then design on the right. And so what's so cool is that this is a perfect first draft tool. Now, I think everybody would agree this may not be the perfect end state. You may want to move it to a Canva tool or move it to somewhere else for final tweaks. You can also move it to Claude Code and make those tweaks in Claude Code, which is a more powerful system than what it looks like Claude Design is. But I think everybody's in agreement that Claude Design for the first draft of most things is doing really, really well. And unless you've already built your own tool, like I have for some of our clients where we have some amazing scripts and skills and other things like that. For people that are just getting started with Claude, I think this is probably a superior to working with Canva or other tools like that. If you want to try it out, all you have to do is go to claude.ai/design. And right now Claude is killing it with almost everything. So I highly recommend using their models. I used a bunch of different companies, including Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT in the past. And I pretty much am mainly using Claude for 95% of the use cases. I'm sure that will change in a few months as the other models start to catch up. But I definitely recommend using Claude. And if you're using Claude, you then can use the claude.ai design. So definitely check it out. It's very cool how it's able to get set up. My favorite part that I think a lot of people are missing is that Claude Design will make your design and then give you the raw code behind it. So you then can take that raw code and move it to anything else and program yourself or use it for other templates, move it to your website. So having that full functionality is just something that other SaaS apps never wanted to give you. But that's not the only thing that Claude released this week. Claude also released Opus 4.7. So for me, a lot of people talk about their ChatGPT moment. I really think my moment was Opus 4.5 in November of last year, where really I realized Claude Opus was better than any human I've seen at a lot of things I work with on a daily basis, like design or data or analysis or other pieces like that. So it's really cool to see Claude not only going beyond Opus 4.5 to 4.6, which was this noticeable improvement, and then 4.7 also seems to be a noticeable improvement. Now, I think everybody's still waiting for Claude Mythos to be released, which Claude is saying is so powerful they can't release it yet because they're worried about the security implications of people being able to use it for hacking and things like that. But Opus 4.7 is here. It's definitely better than what was there before. So it could be worth it for you to consider rebuilding what you had built before with Opus 4.6 or 4.5, but now with Opus 4.7. And also if it's a front-end design, maybe checking with Claude Design. We're actually going to do that in a video release in just a few days, where we're going to take some dashboards that we made using Opus 4.6 about just a few weeks ago, and then rebuild them using the Claude Design on the front end and Claude Opus 4.7 on the back end, and show you the difference that you can see. It is a noticeable difference. Also, for you Claude desktop users out there, in our course, we actually tell people to use Claude Code for the terminal because it's easier to run multiple Claude Code instances. And we've told people before to stay away from the desktop app. But they have redesigned the Claude Code desktop app to where now you can have multiple sessions running side by side. I think we may revise our advice we've been giving to people to stay away from it. I think it's going to continue to improve and maybe soon outperform the Visual Studio Claude Code experience. So honestly, Claude has been making the big improvements. So we don't have as much to talk about with OpenAI or the other tools, but it is cool that OpenAI is just right behind Claude. I'm getting more and more reports from engineers that Codex is getting better. The thing is I think Codex is not getting as much hype. And so if people don't know, Codex is basically Claude Code, but for OpenAI, so ChatGPT's version of Claude Code. And it is getting really close. I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls ahead very soon. OpenAI has been raising lots of funding. It has always been this like foot race where different people pull ahead in AI. So I've been keeping an eye on Codex for a while. But every time I almost switch, I see that Claude Code credits get cheaper. And so because of that, that keeps me with Claude Code. Claude strategy there is working on me. But I do think in the next month, I'm going to start trying out Codex because I'm hearing more and more people say that Codex is better as a developer than Claude Code is at this moment. But still, I think Codex is something to keep on the radar. I think in the next few weeks, it's going to pull ahead, and I will let you know the moment that it does. So ever since OpenClaw has been released and drove so much interest in the AI agent layer for things, there's been all these companies that have come out, and I just want to bring up 2 new ones that are doing better. Perplexity just released a tool called Personal Computer, which is basically like an OpenClaw, but it seems much safer, much more designed for business purposes. Right now, it's only available for Perplexity Mac subscribers, but if you have a Mac and you've been thinking about getting into OpenClaw, but you've been concerned about the security side, I think Perplexity could be something to consider. There are other things that are also interesting, like for example, the Hermes agent. So this is one where it's open source. You can download the code yourself, run it yourself. But for people that are not quite developers yet, I recommend doing the Perplexity personal computer and trying that out. But for people that are on the open source and Claude Code and aren't afraid of the terminal, I do think the Hermes agent is getting more and more interesting. To be honest, it's not better than what we're building ourselves for our own personal agents. But if somebody's starting from scratch and doesn't have a full multi-agent architecture set up already, I think the Hermes agent is a great way to get started and get a lot of that OpenClaw functionality and have some good structure with what you're trying to build. We're going to have a video on that in the next coming weeks across all the different OpenClaw competitors and which one is right for you. So keep an eye out for that video. All right, so if you're only going to spend a little bit of time watching some videos here, we have courses that are on multi-agent systems. I think it's really cool, and it takes a lot of time for people to get a good understanding of that. I think that if you're looking for a 15-minute intro, I think that there's a really good one that this Anthropic engineer released. It went viral on Twitter, but I think for good reason it went viral because it was a really good overview. He spends 15 minutes going into it, and then also he released an article that explains how to build a team of AI agents that work together. I think it's really cool. The article, from my perspective, it's still kind of high level. We go much deeper in our courses and in the clients that we work with, but I think it's a very good intro. And I think it's something that a lot of people, when they're going from the different AI apps in the chat to a multi-agent system, it covers a lot of the main things that people are missing. You can read it in probably 10 minutes. So definitely recommend checking that out. So people like this open source community, like this Kai Gomez, reference this new open mythos, which is what they believe to be a theoretical reconstruction of what Claude Mythos is, but they wrote it in PyTorch, so tied to Python, and basically the whole code is available and online. I think this is a really good article that goes into the depth on how it works. I think it's really cool how these AI models work. And I think a lot of people think that they're way too complicated to understand, but they're really not. Also, if there's already amazing open source teams getting to the Mythos level of quality, I think that's just great for open source, great for the community. All right, so something else that has come across in my research, because I'm working on analyzing Garry Tan, who's the CEO of Y Combinator, which is like a startup accelerator. So he's a full-time CEO, but he's publicly released an open source system that he's calling GBrain and GStack that basically is like a really great way to structure Claude Code and other tools like it to get high value. So I'm actually trying to do a deep review of that in terms of how it works, what it is that he does that's different from other people, maybe some improvements that I see could be done on it. But what's been hard for me with doing this research is he's constantly releasing new things. So he's just recently released this new thing called minions, which is basically just like sub-terminals, sub-agents that work with the main agents. And that's becoming more and more just best practices. We're implementing that on our client side. It's great that we're seeing he implement this on his system as well. And also this ties exactly to the video we released just a few days ago saying that the new best practice is definitely going to be AI swarms. And I showed my own system for how swarms work and how you can get a lot done using swarms. I think that a year ago, all these best practices weren't determined. But I think as time's going on, everybody's coming to the same conclusions together, which I think is really cool in the community. I feel like it's becoming more and more true that these little micro AIs working together is going to be the way of the future for AI. And that changes a lot of things once you really understand that. And then once you start implementing your business in that way, there's a lot of cool things that can happen. So check out the Swarms video and also subscribe so you can see whenever we release the deep review of Garry Tan's GBrain and how you can set it up and use it for your own team. All right, so that was the overview of all the important AI news. We've got some more stuff coming up. We have a deep dive into GBrain coming out soon. We have a deep dive into Claude Design and Opus 4.7 so you can see the difference it can have and how to upgrade your old systems to this new system. And we also have some new videos coming out on knowledge graphs that are also 100% needed for anybody building an AI. So subscribe. We're going to be covering all this stuff on AI architecture. And if you want me and my business partner, Mats, to help you build whatever your projects are on, you can do that just by joining our Skool community. We're super excited about all this and we're happy to help you with any projects that you have. So feel free to sign up from there. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see you next week.